What it do, y'all? It's your girl Joe Jeezy, and we are back with episode 4 of Get to the Roosters. I am excited, y'all. I'm excited. We 4 episodes in, and I said, I'm excited. First, I want to give a shout out to my little cousin Womp. His clothing line is called Luxury Crooks, and I need y'all to go shop the look. He's local in my area. So if you in Meridian, Mississippi area, hit him up and go get your merch. Get your merch. This is dope. I really do like it. Shout out to him. Anyway, y'all, let's get on to episode 4. I just want to do a little reflection on 22. Like, it's crazy how the enemy was working, but God was working too. Like he was walking with me the whole process, and of course the enemy had to step in. And if one thing about it, 2 things for sure. Let me let y'all know: if the enemy's not attacking you, if he's not coming hard, then you don't mean nothing to him. You're not a threat. So don't take it as it's the end of the rail. Just always, keep going, acknowledging that you got this. Just sit in whatever come your way, whether it's depression, sadness, grief. Don't ignore it. Just sit in it, because when you start pushing it away, or putting the band-aids over the wound, then you don't get to the real root of the problem. So just acknowledge it and don't stay there too long. Okay. So yeah, the enemy already knew how emotional I was. He knew what draw me into people. He knew, he sent people in my life to, to make whatever to get me distracted. He knew exactly, he knows exactly what you battling your mind, whether it's mental health or, you feel like you're alone. Just, he knows, he knows. Like, I was finna literally lose my mind, and that was because I was carrying everybody else's weight in mine. So, when people telling you their problems, because I had a big problem with this, people telling me their problems, I'm just emotional as they are. I'm taking it home with me, and I'm trying to see ways that I can help them or encourage them. So when people tell you their problems, drop it off to God. Drop it off to God, and that's it. That it doesn't mean that you don't care about these people. It doesn't mean that, but we cannot carry other people's weight in ours. We can't do that. That's just it. Even though the things that I was going through, I didn't immediately get over it, but it was just the fact that I was acknowledging it. So when you acknowledge the things that you're going through, or acknowledging spirits or things that, your witnesses, that does not mean you're going to get over it, but you acknowledging it, and you get to the root of it, and you praying against it, or whatever you must do to, like I said, I didn't immediately get over people pleasing, but I started to practice it. Later on, I started to want to just take better care of myself. I wanted to look up the part. I wanted to always keep my hair done. Like, it's not the fact that I, didn't look good when I stepped out, but like on a regular day basis, like, I wasn't like on a regular day basis, like, just running to the store. Put on your best fit, and if that's just like a put on, put together fit, that's just fine. Like, putting on clothes and taking care of myself, that also boosts my self-esteem. I'm not saying self-esteem, but boost who I really was. Like, just overall, just help me become like, step into like who I was, like finding my identity, and like putting on clothes, get my hair done. Like, little do Quan know. Quan is my hairstylist. He picked me to be his brand ambassador, and little did he know that I prayed to God and asked God to send me ways to help me keep myself together. Like, and I was picked to be a brand ambassador. So that's like that. I think that was like year 2023. So y'all, let's get into the reflection of year 2020, my last episode. And like, I'm gonna just read to y'all just what I jot down, because like I said, I don't ever want to leave anything out. And yeah, so Let's read the reflections. Okay, so in looking back on 22, I can honestly say God was working and the enemy was too. He knew exactly where I was weak. He knew where I was emotional. He knew I was emotional. He knew how emotional I was. He knew what drew me into people and he knew what drew me into people and where I overgave. And the mental health battles, of course, got stronger. There were moments I truly felt like I was finna lose my mind, carrying everybody's weight, trying to keep peace, trying to be strong. It was piling up. But one day something shifted. I woke up and decided it had to come to an end. I started unloading the weights, pouring into cups that left me empty. I couldn't keep giving my all to people while giving so little to myself. Even though people pleasing was still a struggle, it was being exposed. And exposure is the beginning of healing. I began acknowledging what God was revealing in me instead of running from it. I started choosing awareness over denial, truth over comfort. More self-love came. I felt the urge to take better care of myself, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. I started to look like the healing I was stepping into. 2020 wasn't perfect. I didn't arrive, but I became aware. And awareness changed everything. That was the year I stopped ignoring the weight and finally started putting it down. That was the year I got closer to the roots. Woo! Okay, so y'all, let's get into 2023. If I'm stuttering, if I'm, talking fast or whatever, just bear with me because I got my laptop and I didn't charge my other phone. And I can't hardly see these words. And I got my lashes done and yeah. Y'all gonna see these lashes. So I don't even know my glasses at, but just bear with me, y'all. So let's get into year 2023. So that was the year I started pushing. I started to keep pushing and I kept setting boundaries, like everything that God was revealing to me that I need to take heed of, I took heed of. Like I said, it didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen, right then and there. But just awareness to do better for myself was everything. It really was. So keep that in mind when you changing, or when you know something is not where, there's something that's holding you back or something that's getting you, like I hear a lot of people say that, I want to stop saying yes to people, but I love these people. Like, stop. Like, you gotta stop, because they don't do nothing but hold you down. They don't do nothing but keep you back. They don't do nothing but keep you sad. Because when you give, God said give cheerfully, first of all. When you give, then, and you don't want to give it, then when something happened, like that person let you down, then you start to feel bad, or you start to feel like, dang, but I looked out for you. But if you start saying no, then when people let you down, it don't like, it don't mean nothing. Like, it's okay. So start putting you first, no matter what it is. Start putting you first. Set those boundaries. Stop people pleasing. Stop, being okay with things that you're not okay with. Or that stuff, let me tell you something. That stuff like that will break you. Like, it will take you into like mental illness, and like your mind is just won't never get to where your mind, just stop. Okay, just stop. And also, like, in year 2023, I remember, like, I had lost like so many. I ain't gonna say like I was just looking anorexic, but I lost a lot of weight. And I remember the rumors. I remember somebody asked my sister, "Is your sister on pills?" But little did they know, like, anxiety was really taking a toll on my body. Like, I was having anxiety attacks back to back, and it was just like put me into a mental state, like, where I didn't want to eat, where I didn't want to, talk about it. I didn't want to express myself, because I feel like, well, nobody gonna understand me. I feel like I'm gonna feel like I was sounding crazy. So I had lost a lot of weight. But like I said, when the devil is working, God was working, and the enemy was too. And I had just came out of postpartum depression, y'all. I've had postpartum depression for 4 years, y'all. 4 years. Like, I was literally like battling with loving myself, like, you know, being a better mom, and just like all the things that come up against you. And this year, 2023, I was finally coming out of it. Like, I was finally coming out of postpartum depression. I was loving myself way more, and I was doing things that I wanted to do. And I started like traveling, whether it was like going down the street to Jackson, and I was doing it because like I started to take those self-care, and I took self-care real serious. Whether that was getting a massage, whether that was getting my hair done, whether that was getting makeup done, lashes done. I started to take self-care to the extreme. But I want y'all to understand, self-care don't always look like spending money. Self-care can look like going to the lake and just talking and just looking at the water just float. It can also look like, you know, just going in the sun and just getting that sunlight and just sucking it all in. It can also look like going to the doctor when you're supposed to be going to the doctor, and taking better care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So I had to learn it as well. Like, you don't always have to spend no money to do self-care, baby. Okay. And I started buying me flowers. I'm not a flower person, but flowers just somehow make you feel like blooming. So I started buying me flowers, whether they died or not, because I don't water flowers. But it was just like me being able to do stuff that I know that made me happier. And I stopped depending my happiness on other people. Like, stop basing your happiness on other people. Like, other people should be able to make yourself happy. Stop putting that weight on other people to make you happy. Because they gonna always disappoint you, and you will never be happy. You'll never be happy. Stop waiting on somebody to take you on a date. Take yourself on a date. Stop waiting on people to buy you flowers. Buy yourself some flowers. So that helped too. Like, once I stopped looking for other people to make me happy, and I started making myself happy, sure, you couldn't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. So, like, self-care was a big part of my mental health. Like, it was. I used to shop, like, when I was getting sad, I used to go to Ross a lot. TJ Maxx, and I had to stop that. I had to stop that because, like, that kind of therapy, you'll be looking at your bank account like, what done happened? So I had to eliminate things, I had to eliminate a lot and replace that with other self-cares, like every other month or every month, or go out to eat or go to the lake. I used to just go to the lake and sit down, y'all. I stopped this one time. This is the time that I stopped going to the lake. Y'all remember when them white vans was riding around? They were were kidnapping people. I went to the lake, and I was going to this place, like this Bonita Lakes, and I was going in this area that went all the way to the back. And I never forget, I went back there, and I was eating my food, and I seen this white van, and I'm like, oh, let me get my stuff. Like, I'm like, oh, So that was the last time I had went back there. That's the last time I had actually went to the lake. But I just started to doing things that I normally didn't do. Like, you have to find out who you are as a mom, not who you are as, you have to find out not who you are as a mom, as sister, brother. This is for the men that watching. You have to find out who you are outside of all those different people you have to be in your life. So you have to find out who you are, what you like. So you gotta love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, that's a red flag. That's a red flag, because if you don't love yourself, how you gonna be able to love me? How you gonna be able to love me? How you gonna be able to love your friends? So you gotta take heed of that, and you gotta go, do the things that you normally wouldn't do, or do the things that you always wanted to do. Do the things that you got on your list. Go buy that new shirt. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Because let me tell you, I had a real bad problem with shopping. And like I said, I had to eliminate that. Like going to Ross, baby, I had to eliminate that. But like you just find out what you want to do. Like, don't stop looking on internet and doing things that other folks doing. Like, yes, it's cool to do, you know, if you like it, do it. But find out what you like. Find out what you truly like. And I want to give shout out to Quan, because little did he know, he helped me get that fire back. Like, a lot of people didn't know what I was going through. A lot of people didn't know what I was battling, because I didn't take my problems. I didn't show my problems. And when I got invited to places, I made sure I left my problems, and my energy was great when I walked in the room. So a lot of people didn't understand, like, you know, a lot of people didn't know what I was going through. But I just, like I said, that's why I'm always like, I'm always gonna I'll be grateful and thankful for the little things, because especially the things that brought me out of darkness. Especially the things that brought, even friendships that didn't even, you know what I'm saying, not didn't last. I appreciate, I started to me clarity, like, and because when you changing, your mindset shifting, like, you start to think different. You start to, you know, so when like last year, God gave me, he was just like, just because the relationships didn't work, that don't mean that, you know, you have to be grateful. You have to be thankful for those people. So I started saying, thank you, God. Like, thank you for these people, because those people really, you know what I'm saying, brought things out of me that, you know, I didn't exercise my gifts. You know what I'm saying, brought things out of me that I didn't think I, you know, didn't need. But it, like, I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful for everybody that was in my life, that's in my life, and the people that's God gonna bring in my life. Because, like, lay y'all. But it's also it's also something I wanted to share with y'all, that God has, you know, he been telling me to share with y'all. And, you know, like, I don't want to look over it, and I don't want to tell y'all all the things and leave the things that I did, my mistakes, out. So, you know, I want to be transparent. I want to be vulnerable with y'all. And I feel like this is the platform for that. So it's in year 2023, I'm getting my spark back. I'm getting my, you know, I'm setting boundaries. I'm self-care. I'm telling people no. I stopped pouring into cups that was leaving me. Matter of fact, I just stopped pouring into cups. I didn't stop completely, but I didn't give my all. I didn't overextend myself. I didn't overdo it, because I was literally empty. I was literally empty. Even though I was trying, even though God was giving me the tools, but he told me to step back. I remember I used to do giveaways all the time. I used to give away free hairstyles. I used to do like specials all the time. Like, I had to stop doing all of it. I had to stop. I had to stop pouring into cups, like, and literally pour back into me. I ain't gonna lie, I took off. I took off from doing it, and it was necessary. It was necessary. But like I was saying, like, I want to be transparent for sure. So, like I said, 2023, I'm getting my spark back. Then I get pregnant. I got pregnant. I'm like, no, not right now. Not right now. This is the year I'm getting myself back. I'm coming back into who I am. This is July. This is July. June. It may was June. So I'm like, you know, I'm like, Lord, I was so sick. I was so sick. I was so mean. That, I don't know, that little baby had me so sick and so mean. But y'all, if I'm being honest, y'all, I did get an abortion. I did. I went to Florida and I got an abortion. And I remember when I was younger, and I'm like, I'll never do that. Like, I'll never get an abortion. And one of my homegirls, and they told me, they was just like, they needed me to, you know, go with them. And it's like a long time ago. I think we were still in school. And she was just like, we may not have been in school. We might have been grown. But anyway, she was like, I need you to, you know, go with me. And I'm still strongly believing in, like, I don't, you know, I'm still strongly believing in that I will never get an abortion. But I've never been the type to judge nobody. But, you know, I'll give my input and say, you know, are you sure or whatever. But that girl needed me at that time, so I'm like, okay, I'm going. Like, I'm going. She didn't hear no nagging, nothing there from me. So I stepped up, and, you know, I went with her. But like I said, I was still strongly in believing that I'll never do that. But you never say never until it becomes you. So when people be having debates about the abortion, I close my mouth. I close my mouth. And a lot of people, nobody don't know this. Maybe about people, about 3 people know this, including my sisters. But I went and got an abortion, and if I'm being real honest, I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't feel bad about it until a year later. After that, I was praying. I'm like, Lord, please forgive me. Like, forgive me. I asked the Lord to forgive me like 2 years straight. Like, every time it came about, I didn't stress myself over it, but every time it came across my mind, I'm like, Lord, please forgive me. That's something I'll never do. But that's something I don't regret, if I'm being honest. Like I said, I was so scared of postpartum depression. Postpartum depression had me going through it for 4 years. And maybe because it was so bad because I was going through anxiety as well too, but maybe because I was also breastfeeding. So I was breastfeeding my baby, and she was taking everything out of me, y'all. I didn't know anything about taking vitamins, none of that. So she was taking everything out of me. Everything out of me. So like, I remember me, trying to potty train, and I was just so emotional, y'all. Overstimulated moms, y'all. It's true. It's true. Like, moms that are overstimulated, like, y'all have to literally get a relationship with God for you to overcome it, because it's not, it's not something that you want to keep doing. It's not something, you want to say, oh, that's just me being overstimulated. No. The devil attacks overstimulated moms. He coming for y'all. He coming for us. He want to keep us chaos. He want us, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was keeping me from, being the best. I found myself getting irritated. I'm getting frustrated with my kids. And all because I was just drained. With postpartum depression, y'all, I can talk about postpartum depression all day. And like, I didn't believe in it until it happened to me. I didn't believe in it until it happened to me. So when I got that, like I said, this is year 2023. We like some couple of months in. It's the summertime, and I went and got an abortion. I did. So I just want people, like, people that's, ashamed of their decision. Of course not. Don't do it again. Don't do it. Don't keep doing it. Like, like, but if you done it, you done it. Don't be ashamed of it. Ask God to forgive you. Like, because you just never know what people went going through. And I've never been an irresponsible person when it comes down to sexual activities and stuff. So, like, I always, like, I have one sex partner for years, and I still didn't see myself having another baby. I felt like, I felt like I was just coming out of postpartum depression. And I'm like, I can't go back in. I was so scared. Like, it made me so scared to go back into that. Like, it did. So yeah, that definitely taught me something so deeper. Like, yeah, we want God to forgive. We want God to forgive us. But we gotta learn to forgive ourselves. We got to learn to forgive ourselves too. Yeah, don't beat yourself up so much about what the things that you done. Forgive yourself, ask God for forgiveness, and move on. Don't dwell. This also another year where I realized about dwelling. Don't dwell in things. Once you pray about it, once you pray about things and you still dwelling and you still worried about it, where your faith, sis? Not talking about the, abortion situation, but just faith, period. If you pray about things and you still worrying, come on, y'all. Where's your faith? So change your mindset. Change your mindset to work to. Once I pray about this, and I had to learn this. I had to learn this too. Once I pray about it, it's not fair to God for me to still be dwelling on it and saying, worried about it. Once I dropped out to God, that's it. I'm moving on. So I had to learn it. Still learning. Still, well, I ain't gonna say I'm still learning because I have overcome that. Like, And that come with peace too. Like, true enough, things gonna happen, but how you know what I'm saying, you move with it, how you change your mindset to understand that everything happened for a reason. Literally, everything happened for a reason. You'll wake up happy every day. You literally wake up with so much peace of situations. Like, I could, like, I can have a misunderstanding, disagreement with people, and like, I can't dwell on that. People feel how they feel, and that's just that. I remember when I asked them, I'm like, like, oh, I lost this friend one time. She started talking to me, and I was just like, I don't understand. Like, I've been the best friend that I can, and you know what I'm saying. And my mom was like, God knows exactly what He doing, whether that was for your good or her good. Stop dwelling on it. Let it go. Dwelling don't do nothing but get stuff in your heart against people. Some great people that came in my life, but once I found, people turned their back on me, and also people that I had to walk away from. And it's not because they was no bad people. It's not because they was, it was just, I seen traits in them that was too familiar, that was going to set me back. Too familiar to the trauma that I went through when I was a little girl. Trauma when I went through when I was growing up. And if I'm growing, you cannot be, set back. You can't, you gotta watch those triggers. You gotta watch the things, you know what I'm saying? Either you're gonna acknowledge it, but I'm the type of person, I'm gonna acknowledge it, and I see how you move after that, then, it's great. I don't want no weird energy after that. So at this year, I'm really setting boundaries. I'm really, telling people like, hey, I didn't like this. Hey, and it had nothing to do with them. It's just, I no longer wanted to go back into that lost person. That lost person, giving my all to people, being okay with things I really wasn't okay with. Literally. So I'm thinking I'm losing people. I'm thinking I'm losing friends and stuff, but it was necessary for my growth. It was necessary for my growth. I could not stay in, in environments that I know, So God was shifting my mindset. He was shifting my taste buds of how, of people that I was surrounding myself with. And I had to listen. Because all this was only for me, for my good. He was breaking me down for me to find my own pieces. I went through the breakdown. Like, when you start your healing journey, you start your relationship with God, He's going to take you through the breakdown. He's going to take you through everything that your mama did to you. He's going to take you down. Everything that's you was a child, literally. Everything that's holding you back. Everything that's keeping you in bondage, literally. And that's exactly what He was doing. That's exactly what He was doing. I didn't accept that until like year 2024. Maybe it's probably the end, beginning of 25, year 24. Yeah. I didn't accept it. Like, everything literally happening to me for a reason. I was just so scared of not growing, baby. I was so scared of, being set back, being triggered. I no longer want to be triggered no more. Even in my relationship. And I'm not going to talk too much about my relationship. But even in my relationships, like, I had to realize, like, okay, you saying communicate. You telling this man to communicate. But are you communicating? You trying to communicate, but it's how you communicate. Our tone can also trigger people too. So it was a lot of self-awareness. Like, when you tell, like I said in my last, one of them episodes, when you ask God to show you people, don't forget to ask Him to show you too. Because that matters just as much. So He was showing me people, but He was showing me too. You need to communicate better, baby. You triggered that man. And I didn't learn that till this year. Oh, last year, 2025. So, the process, y'all, it's all about awareness. Self-awareness is the best. I can't surround myself with nobody. I don't care, I give grace. I don't care what you do, long as you self-aware. Long as you say, I do this, but I'm working on it. I do this, but I don't want to be this person by next year. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the type of people. Like self-awareness, like it's not about being perfect. It's not about performing. It's not about, you know what I'm saying? It's about the self-awareness, baby. Okay? Don't be nobody that you're not. Don't try to I promise you, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be talking to y'all, telling y'all about the things that I'm going through. But I know exactly He's not giving us anything on this earth. Everybody have work to do. He's not giving us nothing to sit on it. Somebody can use this information and help the next. So He was preparing me over the years. He was, you know, telling me to upload my problems and talk about things on TikTok, because He was preparing me to talk to y'all. And one day talk to millions of people when I do my live podcast. You can't be scared. You can't be nervous. Of course, you know, you're going to be nervous, but you can't, you know, you have to, once you know who you are, you can walk in any room and know you that person, know you that girl. You can walk in any room. Never been that type of girl to be jealous hearted. Never been that type of person. But certain things, you know, that, you know, the devil see you, you know, you struggle with, he said, okay, I can place this in her. You know, if she thinking like that, I can place this in her. So the self-awareness is necessary. You want to be able to walk in rooms and compliment anybody and still feel like you can tell somebody you the baddest thing walking and still feel like you the baddest thing walking. So, like I said, self-awareness is the best thing that God also placed in my life. Everything didn't change overnight. Things didn't change overnight. Some things, you know, everything didn't change overnight. But it was me realizing that I must put a stop to a lot of stuff. I'm the reason why a lot of things is going on. A lot of things happening to me. I'm the reason why I'm putting myself in the same cycles. And one thing I learned, I'm saying, okay, God, this is the same thing that happened last year. This is another test. He's trying to see how you gonna handle the situation. Are you gonna be sad? Are you gonna be mad? Are you gonna be angry? How you gonna handle this situation? And when you go higher, the test come rapidly. When you go higher, the enemy come harder. Recently, I've been I was in this kind of like funk, and it was just like, you know, grieving because of my brother. You know, around this time, January through like February March. January through March was the time that we waiting, we anticipating, like, you know, this is also the time that I started smoking weed, and I had stopped for 6 months. So let me celebrate that for one. What day it is? I've been sober 19 days. Praise break. I've been sober for 19 days, y'all. This means so much to me because I literally smoked my last blunt December the 31st. And I said, this is my last blunt. This is my last blunt. God said I cannot release my podcast unless I'm sober. So I said, God, you the only person that can help me with this. So then I'm like, okay, so if I stop one time, of course, you know, I can stop again. But he also revealed in 2025 early on that that's a bloodline curse. Your mama's on drugs. Your grandma was on drugs. So then I started to pray over my bloodline for me to get rid of that addiction. I did. My mentor, she took us on this fast, and through the fast, I'm praying. I'm like, you know, even when, you know, I'm smoking while I'm saying, Lord, please deliver me. Deliver me from weed. I'm smoking. Still, you know, saying that I know can't nobody do this but you, God. Can't nobody do this but you. Here I am, 19 days in, no desire, literally. Nothing but God. So I kept, and I also keep this prayer in the back of my head. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. I tell my kids this all the time. You can do all things. You can do anything. You can do anything. Literally. Whatever you put your mind to. So me watching my mind transform from, you know, the way I used to think, I had felt, I know that it was healing taking place. Like, I felt the healing taking place. And I refused to be with anything that wasn't aligned with God. Anything that wasn't aligned with me. Who I was, what made me feel better. I was, baby. I refused to be aligned with anything that wasn't for me. So first, before you know, healing, understand that honesty, you have to first be honest with yourself before healing takes place. You have to be honest with things bothering you, because God knows. He knows exactly what, you know, we're going through our mind and stuff. He knows exactly what we battle with. He knows exactly what spirits come up against us. He knows. So first we got to be honest. I said I don't want to be connected with nobody who don't say, listen, I don't want to feel like this towards my friend. Because they ain't nothing but spirits. Ain't nothing but spirits. Y'all, the world is so spiritual. It's nothing but spirits that try to come up against people. Lack of identity. People don't know themselves. I don't want to be connected with nobody who's not aware. Who don't say, I need people to say, hey, like, I don't want to think like this towards this girl. I know this is a good friend. I don't want to think like this. Lord, help me with my thoughts. Help me with my overthinking. Oh my God, that was a big thing for me. Help me with my overthinking. Everybody not out to get you. But I also had to trust my discernment. I also had to stop running from my discernment. I'm like, why am I feeling like this? This girl is not showing no signs of that. Later on, signs and wonders. For real. That year was also the year that I realized that boundaries was necessary to protect my growth. If there's no walls, then how you gonna grow? If there's no, and boundaries are good. That's how you find out who your real people is. If people don't understand your boundaries, that exposed to entitlement. If people don't understand boundaries, that exposed to people who feel like they're entitled to you. Like I said, people can't, me understanding that, because I was this person, this gullible person. If you buy me a piece of bubble gum, I'm gonna feel like you're my friend. I'm gonna feel like you is the best thing that happened to me, because like people, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't used to that. I was always the giver. So I also realized that the devil know exactly what. He knows exactly what will take me there. Who will take me and make me feel like these people are for me. But I'm aware of wolf in sheep clothing. Cause so if you feel like you're gonna buy me gifts and buy my love and buy that not Joe Jeezy. I'm aware of that. I'm appreciative, but I'm aware of that. Cause don't think you're entitled to me. You're not entitled to me. Everything I say must go. Like, you know. Everybody. Don't know give. None of that. Because if you truly love me, if you truly love that person, you're going to respect their boundaries. You're going to understand their boundaries. It has nothing to do with people. But people don't understand that. People be battling things right alone. People be battling things. And me setting no boundaries, me people pleasing, kept my mind in bondage. Me doing things I know I didn't want to do kept my mind in bondage. Understand that choosing yourself is the bravest thing you could ever do in your life. Choosing yourself, putting yourself first. Put yourself first in everything. Put yourself first. Put yourself before your kids. It should be God, you, family. And whatever else, your work and business. Because if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love your family? How are you going to love your kids? Put yourself first. Don't listen to nobody that say to you, I don't put nobody up for my kids. And you do. You have to. I can't stand when people try to make people feel bad for having a support system, going out on holidays, whatever you must do to put yourself first and love yourself. Balance it. It can be balanced. Yes, it can be balanced. You love your kids, love yourself. It can be balanced. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. I'm telling you. Yes, it can. From a person who felt like they had to do everything for people and do everything for their babies and put themselves last. It's necessary to put yourself first. It is. Like I said, if you don't love yourself, how you gonna love people? How you gonna love them? Comment below how you gonna love them if you put everybody first. 2023 was the year I refused to go backwards. I refused to go backwards, and I was getting closer to the root. Closer and closer to the root. So, y'all, this is the end of this video. This is the end of this episode. And y'all know I got encouraging words for y'all. So, also, I want to give y'all... I'm probably going to leave that to the end. I'm leaving it to the end. Hold on. Okay, so 2023. Let me give y'all a word of encouragement. I'm going to give y'all a word of encouragement. Before you go, I want to leave you with this. If 2023 was your year to choose yourself, honor that courage. Healing doesn't always look soft. Sometimes it look hard. It look like hard decisions. Quiet exit and choosing growth, even if it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it look like protecting your mind because you remember how hard it was to get it back. If your body changed, if your emotions shifted, if anxiety showed up in new ways, it doesn't mean you were going backwards. It means your body was releasing what it could no longer carry. Boundaries aren't walls. Boundaries are walls. They are bridges. They're bridges to your future God is building for you. If you walked away from people who felt familiar to your trauma, that wasn't rejection. That was wisdom. You weren't being mean. You were being mindful. And if you're still asking God for forgiveness for things he already covered, give yourself permission to receive the grace he already gave. Sometimes the healing isn't about being forgiven. It's about learning how to forgive yourself. You didn't lose your softness. You didn't lose your faith. You didn't lose your fire. You protected it. And this is the end of the episode of Get to the Roots. This is the 4th episode. And I want y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that post notification bell so you can be notified whenever we post a video. Now, let me give y'all some good news. Your girl will be in her first movie. I cannot give y'all the dates. I can't give y'all the name or none of that. But in Atlanta, Georgia, I will be in my first movie role. I got accepted. I got picked or whatever. I did the audition. I was nervous, y'all, but like I told y'all, I tell myself in my brain, calm down, and I calmed down and I nailed it. That man said, yeah, you overdid it. You got, not only are you gonna get a role, are you gonna have a spotlight role. So I see you guys, and I was getting discouraged. I cannot lie because, this man, he was going down his list. He said he had a couple of other ladies to audition. So I'm like, he didn't text me back right away. He didn't text me back the time he said he's going to text me back. So I'm like, I already know you acknowledge God, whatever you do. I ask God, if this not for me, I'm okay with this not being for me. If this not for me, God, don't let this work out for me. So he didn't tell back. I said, it ain't for me. And I can't, and if I'm being honest, I did, I got a little discouraged in the beginning. I'm like, dang, but I remember, you are that girl. You are that girl. If things don't work out for you, no, God got something bigger for you. But it worked out. It did work out. So y'all, you'll be watching your girl on one of these movies. I can't tell you, no more details. But yeah, love y'all. Thank y'all for watching episode 4. Goodbye.